What's going on, guys? This is Tyler from Division One Trading. So today, just going over this quick trade review. It's a recording from a live session. It's in fast forward right now, but just wanted to talk about the technicals a little bit. So you can see that blue box on the right screen. That is our bullish order block. I was trying to get in as close to that as possible. Got slipped a little bit with slippage and spread, but still, nonetheless, got in there. Now, put my stop near the bottom of that order block. Was trying to get as close to the low as I could. Now on the left-hand screen, you can see those two black lines. Those are outlining a 4-hour fair value gap, which was my target. And you can see right there, it fills the 4-hour fair value gap. So now we've met all the requirements as far as that fair value gap. And technically our target has been hit. And that was at 2 to 1. You can see it ran right there and then it paused. So this is generally an area where I look to take partials. When a higher time frame target like that has been met, it's generally at least a good idea to try to take something off. But you can see it continued extending here. So now looking at that left-hand screen, you can see the bullish candle, which is our bearish order block. So now we're trying to see whether it will trade up into that or if it's going to fail. And so right here, just for a second, I'm going to play part of the live recording. I was just talking about moving part of our trade around. All right, so it is pulling back against us pretty heavy with it being Monday. I'm just going to run another 20%. That way we're at least secure. Yeah. And we're going to move our stop to about 50%. So one thing that I always do when I'm trading is once I've gone up to a target, whether it's 2 to 1 or more, I try to take a partial and move my stop. Now, at 1 to 1, I'll move my stop to 75% of my total stop. Once I get to 2 to 1, then I'll put it at 50% of my total stop. So you can see right here the 4-hour fair value gap on the left-hand side of the screen. You can see it's back up there. It's filled it again. So we know that there's a chance that it can head toward that bearish order block and get us into our 3 to 1, 4 to 1 risk reward. So as we trade toward it, it's important to, at least from my perspective, to not move to break even too soon. Because a lot of times what happens if we move to break even too soon is it'll come and grab us just barely before it turns around and continues in our direction. And I've said this in other videos before, and I'll say it again, but this is the hardest part in trading, is when we're already in a trade and we're letting it run, right? Because we're seeing some profit and we don't want to end up with nothing. We do want to leave the trade with something. So again, in my opinion, one of the hardest things in trading is knowing when to exit and knowing when to get out, because there's always going to be that, oh, if I'd only held longer, or if I would have just closed out when it got to my target, right? If we would have closed out when it filled our fair value gap, we would have gotten a 2 to 1, but then there's no opportunity to get to a 3 to 1, 4 to 1, or anything larger than that. So like I said, when price is bouncing around in this range, it can make things a little more difficult for us. But what you have to do is you just have to do exactly like this. Record your trades and go through them and talk through them. And then you can see characteristics of the trades that turn around and fail and characteristics that stay up high. Now, just to give you a quick tip, generally when trades consolidate at the high, I'll look to hold them because they will go higher. But if it flashes back down very fast back toward my entry after only going to 1 to 1 or so, then I start to get worried. So you can see here, as we start dipping back into that 1 to 1, I don't want to move my stop above break even, but I am a little worried about it. And let's go back to the live real quick.
You go live every morning,
Yeah,
same time?
pretty much. Sometimes I'm a little late. 5 or I would say 8 o'clock plus or minus 10 minutes. Sometimes I send it a little bit early. Sometimes I send it 2 minutes late. But so now we're going to go a little bit faster just to get through the video. But I'm looking at my technicals, price is consolidating, and we've come back to that 1-to-1 risk reward, and now we finally start leaving that consolidation. So this is where I really want to start anticipating that breakout. And if we don't get some kind of bullish movement, I'll probably start to get worried that we're not headed for that order block anymore. So on the chart on the left, you can see we're now leaving that fair value gap and we're reaching up toward that order block. So we're pretty much at that order block. We're inside the wick, but we haven't quite made it to the body yet. But we've now reached not only that order block, but our 3-to-1 risk reward. Generally, this is where we'll pull a little bit more off the trade unless it's looking like it wants to run. My goal is I want to hit a 3-to-1. That's generally my minimum, what I'm aiming for. And then I look for 5-to-1, and then I look for 8-to-1, and then I look for a 10-to-1. So, and I haven't moved it yet, but generally at 3-to-1, that's when I'm comfortable with being at completely break even and just letting the trade ride. So it's not always going to be the case where the trade continues to go all the way up and through the order block, but in this case, you can see it's hitting the order block and it's even giving us larger reward. But appreciate you guys watching this video. If you made it all the way through, be sure to like and comment if you have any questions, and hit subscribe if you want to see some more. All right, guys. Hope you have a great trading week. Peace out.